This is KRP, Ken's Random Podcast.
So I haven't recorded a podcast in quite some time, so I'm at a loss as to what to call this. New and improved? I'm not sure. It's the same old guy, and I don't know if I've improved any. Or maybe just reboot. Yeah, that's it. Reboot of KRP, Ken's Random Podcast. Because I'm still Ken, I'm still random, and I'm podcasting. So buckle up, Buttercup. Here we go. As I just said in the opening, this will be a very random podcast. Let's start with this. You don't know what it is because you can't see it, right? Listen. That is the wrapping or the box that a 4-pack of Harry's razor blades came in. Why do they make it so hard to open? It's 4 razor blades, but they need that space on the box to advertise and to tell you how great the product is. They don't worry about how much you're going to fight to get it open, and they don't care if they could have saved 50 cents for you by cutting out the cardboard. But anyway, enough of that. I'm done with it. But there are other different things that I open to give me just as much problem. We'll talk about medication later. When you go to take an aspirin or take Tylenol for your arthritic hands and you can't open the bottle. Okay, enough of that stuff. Let's move on to serious stuff. Lately, we've been seeing prices rise and fall and rise and rise and fall and rise at convenience stores where we tank up our cars. Big oil is minting money. And I'm not against somebody making money, but think about this. Exxon raked in $14.5 billion in profit during the second quarter, more than doubling its year earlier earnings, and its highest haul since 2022 during the onset of the Russian-Ukraine war. Now, to break it down, Exxon made about $160 million per day in the last quarter. Did you hear that? $160 million per day. Chevron, the number 2 U.S. oil company, posted a profit of $12.1 billion. That's profit. $12.1 billion. Not only that, Exxon and Chevron own refineries, so they're cashing in on that end of it as well. Can you imagine that much money a day or a year? Now, here's a shocking headline that I just had to look at. Rosie O'Donnell says she's returning to The View. ABC says not so fast. Rosie says she's willing to return for The View's 30th anniversary celebration, but no formal invitation has been issued. The comedian who relocated to Ireland after President Trump's return to office says she'd participate in whatever way they want as a guest. Oh my goodness. First off, I can't believe that show's been on for 30 years or 30 seasons, and I have never watched an episode. I've watched little bits and pieces that made me want to just throw up. And just thinking about Rosie O'Donnell makes me want to throw up. So I don't really care whether she comes back as a guest or anything else. What a waste of airtime. And just some screaming harpies. They've done more to hurt this country than a lot of other things we have wrong with our country. That's all I'm saying about that. Rosie, good luck with that. Recently, while scrolling through Facebook, which I do quite a lot because that's where I get so much material I can use on this podcast, but I saw this ad. Feel like Bond. James Bond. This isn't your typical t-shirt. It's what James Bond wore in Skyfall. Built for 007. Created for your next mission. Better yet, it's now 40% off. Join the ranks of thousands of Bond fans worldwide who are wearing the same gear as 007 in Skyfall. If it was guaranteed that by buying and wearing this shirt, my physique would look like Daniel Craig, I would be on it like white on rice, but we know that's not going to happen. All right, things couldn't get much worse, right? We've got war, we've got elections, inflation, all kinds of stuff going on, but now something at Epcot is going to shake the world. Well, maybe not, but Walt Disney World is replacing its familiar flat-top garbage cans with new solar-powered smart receptacles, which are capable of compacting garbage and notifying workers when they're full. Now, that sounds like a great bunch of ideas, but the new cans present a problem. They've got curved tops, So some people say, what? I need those flat tops because when I eat, I need something to put my tray or my drink on. And that was the most logical place. One person says, where am I supposed to eat? One fan joked that Disney had essentially invented bird spikes for humans so they could gather around the garbage cans. But I don't know. This is certain distaste for me. But nothing says the most magical place on earth quite like the disinfecting smell of a garbage can receptacle while you're having dinner. Nope. I think I'll pass. If you were looking for a wild time in Memphis over the weekend, Walmart was the place to be. First off, power went out, so people were looking for toilet paper in the dark with flashlights and cell phones. But then all of a sudden there was a squealing sound everywhere. This woman walked into the store with a shopping cart with 4 pigs in it. Must have been one big shopping cart. But there were 4 pigs. And what's interesting is they had numbers painted on them. 1, 2, 3, and 5. Yeah, 5. No 4. But anyway, she let these pigs loose and, needless to say, chaos or pandemonium erupted. And finally, they were captured using laundry baskets, I think. But anyway, the woman said she just wanted to give something back to the store to make it more exciting experience or something to that effect. Anyway, the pigs were caught. She's in jail. Aside from scattering in the heat and the dark, shoppers had to watch out for pig poop. Man, she brought some excitement to that Walmart. Thank goodness I only go to Walmart maybe once a year and I don't go to Memphis. Next page. This is really going to be random. I found this on a site from AOL. First off, I didn't even know AOL was still in business. But anyway, here's the title of the story. Make cocktail bar-worthy clear ice at home with this clever freezing trick. Please, be real. I've noticed that sometimes you get a drink somewhere and the ice is clear, and my ice at home may not be perfectly clear, but I just don't really think I have the time, the effort, or the money to get involved in this. Get this. You gotta get the right equipment to make this clear ice. I don't think so. If I gotta buy something to make my ice clear that I'm gonna dump into a glass, pour soft drink, or anything else on it, I'm not gonna do that. I just want to make my ice. Just ice. I don't care if it's clear, if it's transparent, or as long as it's not green and moldy or something like that. The aesthetic is crazy. I don't care if my ice is clear. I just want ice in my glass. No extra spending time or money. Just give me the ice. Do I hear that in the background? Ice? No, I'm not going there. Now that I've finished with that first world problem, here's a problem that I deal with every day. Traffic in Youngsville. Now, I've got to admit, the mayor and the administration have done a great job with roads, increasing traffic flow, and a lot of people are upset with the, overabundance, let's say, of roundabouts. And I'll tell you what, the roundabouts are kind of scary at first because, let's face it, some people have never seen them. Matter of fact, when we got the first one here in Youngsville, somebody ran into my Mustang and creamed the door where Kathy was sitting. Fortunately, she was not hurt, but the gentleman said, I didn't know what to do. We don't have those things where I come from. He comes from Crowley, which is about 40 miles away from here. So it's not like it's a different planet. Well, I'll admit, in Crowley, they don't have any roundabouts. But this roundabout had a sign that says, yield. Roundabouts are much better than 4-way stop signs, at least in my humble opinion. There is one particular stop sign area, 4-way, at Bonan Road, which is probably 2 miles from my house. What's dangerous about it is sometimes there are cars backed up for like a half mile on each side of it. And I've noticed some people get terrified. They don't know whether it's their turn to go or not. The worst offenders, I know I'll get flack for this, but are people with Texas license plates. And I think because they don't have any speed limits in some areas of Texas. I mean, once you get out of Houston and head north, man, you just crank that sucker up and set the cruise control. But I've almost been creamed a couple of times, and the cars had Texas license plates. It's like they don't know how to deal with them. Read the owner's manual. No, there's no owner's manual, but there are enough videos showing how to do that. The person on the right has the right of way, especially if it got there first. So just think about it. The roundabouts are much safer than those four-way stop signs because people at least get into them and go round and round. They don't just crash into cars. Enough of that stuff. Let's just say you should just obey the signs, proceed with caution, and everything should be fine. Notice I said should be fine. Let's go on to something else that has a lot to do with Youngsville traffic. It may be everywhere else in the world. I think I even saw the fact that Paris is implementing certain rules about e-scooters and e-bikes. Here in my neighborhood, it is unbelievable. You will see people zipping all over the place, from 4-year-olds to 90-year-olds on scooters, e-bikes, golf carts, not paying attention to the rules. Just because it's a tiny vehicle doesn't mean you should not be wearing a helmet, you should not stop at stop signs, and you should not drive in the middle of the freaking road. But yet it happens all the time. And there's some people who say, well, they're just kids having fun. And golf carts are one thing. Golf carts with all kinds of flashing lights on them and music blaring at 10 o'clock at night, that's another thing. But I noticed a woman recently who thought she didn't even have to put that Budweiser in a paper bag to disguise the fact that she was driving a golf cart with kids in it, and she was breaking the law. Not a good idea. Pay attention to the rules of the road. Next page. I guess I should call this segment, What the Hell is Wrong with People? But then I just did some stories before this that are the same sort of story. So let's move on to traffic near schools. We have a number of schools in our area that have got long lines of parents picking their kids up after school or dropping them off in the morning. And an incident happened recently that just makes me want to scream at parents. Look, it's bad enough you have to be in that line, but you don't have to curse at the police officer who is directing traffic, protecting you and your kids. It happened this week. A friend of mine who is a police officer in Youngsville was directing traffic, and one mom just decided she was going to call him beep. I'm not even going to try to do the word because it just upsets me. Here's the officer doing his job, protecting traffic, protecting you, and making traffic flow. He should stop everything and let your car go through at an inappropriate time. Lady, you are the problem, not the officer. So whatever you called him, that is the tag you should wear. Maybe we should paint it on your car as well. Recently, the Louisiana Public Service Commission decided in a 3-1 vote that the $50 billion data center was not legally obliged to disclose how it calculated projected jobs and electricity needs. The vote followed party lines, with Republicans Jean-Paul Cousin, Mike Francis, and Eric Scarmetta voting against the order, while Democrat Devontae Lewis voted to maintain it. Another Democrat, Foster Campbell, was absent from the meeting. This just blows my mind. Non-disclosure agreements? Recently, I saw that 54 Louisiana legislators signed non-disclosure agreements. I don't know what it was for, but anybody signing a non-disclosure agreement should not be in public office. They should be removed immediately. Non-disclosure, does that say, we've got a secret and we're not telling anybody, we're screwing you? This really aggravates me. There's enough shady deals going on in the nation and in Louisiana. Non-disclosure agreements are flat BS. That's a wrap. That's all the time I've got for it. Well, it's not actually all the time, but it's all the topics I have prepared for today. I haven't done a podcast in a while, so bear with me. Next week, I'll have a little bit more to brighten your day. Or not. But anyway, please subscribe, like, share, do whatever it takes to get the word out everywhere. And remember, don't try to fact check any of this. It's all produced without adult supervision. Thanks for joining me on KRP, Ken's Random Podcast.